everybody. It's Colin and my man Jose, and you were watching Talking Ball. We got a very special episode for you today. But first of all, Jose, how's it going? How's life in England today? Is it everything, life treating you well?
Yeah, obviously working, but I'm coming towards my end of my working day, nearly finished, and I'm playing football tonight. Friday night, I play football.
There you go. Score a hat trick. Score a hat trick for us.
I've been roped into a double session because the team, or the group that play,
they're short somebody.
They're short, so they've asked if we want to play. So I'm now going through the pain barrier of playing 2 matches tonight.
You're gonna need some aspirin for the knees tonight, my man.
Yeah, big time.
Well, everybody, thanks for joining into Talking Ball. We got a very special episode today. We've got some guests, and I'm going to bring them in just right now, just bringing them straight in. You know them. You love them. First, we've got Kate from Just a Girl Who Loves Spurs, a YouTube channel that is skyrocketing in subscribers. I was going to say I'm on the show with some of YouTube's biggest rising stars today, so I'm excited, and thank you for being here, Kate. And then, thank you. That means so much because. Yeah, thank you for being here. Truly means a lot. And speaking of people being here and special people, we've got Ian in the house.
Hey,
Ian.
hi.
I think Ian just got back from the gym, right? That's what you said. You've been at the gym.
I just got back from playing old man's bowls, but yeah, absolutely. So yeah.
I'm glad you're here, man. I'm glad you could make it. It's nice to see you. It's been a really long time. I feel like since I've seen you.
Has been a while. So yeah, good to be on. Good to be back in Michigan.
Yep, good. Thank you. Yeah, good to have you here. You're always welcome. You're always welcome.
Well, you're in Indiana, aren't you? You're not in Michigan.
I knew what you meant. It was very nice, but it's good to have you here. How does it feel to be in Indiana? It's not a great place, I'll tell you that, Ian. I think that one's much better. It's kind of the armpit of America. But anyway, I'm glad everybody's here. You're watching Talking Ball. And real quick, I just want to say we've already got some people in the house. Ellie left us a nice comment. I invited her on the show, but she is just still shattered from, coming back from Cyprus and doing all that wonderful stuff. So she's here in the chat. Thank you, Ellie, for being here. We've got Adrian Sroka. He's an ever-present member in the chat. And then we got some gym guy. I think he's a creep. He's probably, you got to watch out for him. I think he's
my stalker.
Yeah, Kate Stalker. But Jim is here, and so I just wanted to say a big thank you to everybody that is viewing the show, be it live, be it on recording. You're good people, and really, appreciate having you guys here. So thanks a bunch. I'm pretty sure that there's a match tomorrow against some team, some small team, right? You guys have heard about this. So we got to go through somebody's garden to get to the pitch, to get to the
don't disregard them too quickly.
No,
we do
right.
do have a tendency to be Spursy against these sort of teams.
Exactly. No, but that's in the past, right? That's how we used to be. I was going to say that it seems like in the past, these are the types of games I would be really worried about. The players would go in, they would not take them seriously. We do this thing where we kind of play to the level of our opponents. It seems like at times. So when we go play City, we give it everything. We play hard. It's a great match. But then when we go and play the Lutons of the world, and we lose because they're up for it. It's a big game for them. For us, it's just some small thing. But I don't think Ange will let the players get away with that. And Ian, I know you're a big Ange, you're a big Ange fan. And so yeah, I mean, do you think that he'll have them ready and not going to let them take the foot off the gas?
Yeah, it's just not his style to let the players let up. I mean, his motto is "We never stop." I mean, it's a tight little ground, Kenilworth Road. If anyone's ever been there, I haven't been there since 1978, I don't think. And I don't think
wow.
It's changed that much. It's a tight little ground. It'll be a noisy little ground. We'll have a decent support in there. No, I expect us to to be absolutely up for it and to be trying to dominate possession. I'm confident we'll win this game. I know we talk about Spursy, and we wouldn't even be Spursy if we didn't worry about being Spursy. You know, you're not a proper Spurs fan.
It all feeds into itself. Yeah,
but no, I think the players will enjoy it. I think the way we play possession football. No, I'm really confident about tomorrow. And of course, are we allowed to talk about going top of the league? Are we allowed to? Should we even dare to dream it?
Yes, absolutely, we should.
Yeah.
Why not enjoy it? You got to live in the moment, Ian. And so if you can't enjoy the moments while they're here, when what can you enjoy? Kate, I wanted to ask you: do you think this is going to be the end of the whole Spursy term? And I think Big Ange might be the coach to put Spursy in the past. I don't think that I think that'll be a term not really used much anymore. Now that Big Ange is here.
First of all, I just want to pay respect to the big man who's on my chest today, Big Ange.
Love it. Don't tell Jim that he's on your chest. Jim might get jealous.
Yeah, let's hope he gets on Luton's tits tomorrow. That's all.
Yeah, I have to say, I think it's going to take a long time before that Spursy tag is lost forever. We've been Spursy for so many years. I hate it. I hate the term. I hate even saying it, but I'm saying it as an example. I mean, we've got to start getting to semi-finals and finals and actually getting over the line before that tag finally leaves. But I certainly think Ange is the man to do that for us. I have full faith in him. I think he's an absolute savage. So, yeah, hopefully within the next couple of years, Spursy will be no more.
Mm. I mean, just to add to that, I know you want to bring Jose in, and I'm going to grab a cup of coffee. The thing about Ange is, if you're a Spursy player, you won't be playing, and you'll be gone from the club. I mean, that's what he does. You will not be a Spurs player if you're Spursy.
That's exactly what I like to hear. Love it. And
grab coffee. I'll be able to listen to you.
Yeah, enjoy. I wish I had a coffee. I'm drinking the Gross energy drink. It's a Rockstar fruit punch flavor, in case anybody wondered, with approximately 140 milligrams of caffeine in here. The good stuff. But Jose, again, I'll kind of pose the same question to you. And like Ian was saying, you won't play if you're Spursy under Ange Postecoglou. And I think he's right. And do you think that's why we've seen some players that, were mainstays in the team, no longer in the team? And we'll look at the team from the last match and kind of talk about who we think is going to play in this one. But do you think that's why we don't see Dyer anymore? That's why we don't see Hugo anymore? Do you think their Spursiness, and Kate's going to hate that, is what is keeping them out of the squad? Or I don't know. Maybe they just haven't fully bought into the project, and he's just not about that.
I don't know if they're not fully bought into the project. I just think that they're shit, and they're not good enough. It's simple as that. If they were good enough, they'd be in there, and they're just not good enough. For what? If we need to move with the times, and there's a new way of thinking, there's a new way of playing. If the manager doesn't believe they fit in, then they don't fit in, and that tells me they're not good enough. I take a bit of what Kate said, and I also take a bit of what Ian said about Spursiness. Kate said Spursiness will take a few years. Yeah, and it will do. And for me, if I look at someone like Man United, let's say, Man United were built on what Sir Matt Busby did with them. And then they went through a lull for many years, and then it was picked up by Ferguson, and then they built again. I think that nobody lives forever, but Postecoglou signed a 4-year contract. And however long Postecoglou stays with us, this is the start of us, hopefully, building the foundations for our future to go on. And if we can do that, they're already talking about the sense of the way that we're building at the moment, and the way that we've got a philosophy and the theory that we want to follow going forward in the future, is that any manager that comes to us in the future will play the same kind of way. We'll play front foot football, and this is the way forward for us. So for me, I agree with Kate. It's going to take a few years for Spursiness to be taken out. But the foundations are being built now of what we're going to do in the future, and it may well be beyond Postecoglou as well.
I really hope he's the one to do it. You guys, to keep things kind of fresh and flowing, we are going to jump right into a segment that I like to call the internet's favorite Tottenham game show. It's called Keeper West Ham. You guys already know, but maybe some people don't. You are going to be presented with 2 Spurs players, past or present. You have to keep one and send one to West Ham and then defend your answer. And here we go. Hey, everybody. Love that intro. You can tell it's old because I've got hair in it. So I think I filmed that like 2 years ago.
I heard you say this yesterday, but you have hair now as well.
You still have hair? A lot less hair.
Oh, you still have hair?
I might be at the point where just shaving it would look better. You can't see the back. The back is bad too, guys. But anyway, enough about my hair. It's time for Keeper West Ham. Like I said, the internet's favorite Tottenham game show. As voted by me, and we've got some awesome choices for you guys today. I always try to make them hard in different ways. Sometimes they're hard because both players were so great and contributed so much to the team. Sometimes they're hard because both players were shit and didn't do anything for the team. And I won't tell you which we've got today, but you'll be able to guess once you see the first option. So we've got Lo Celso versus Hill. I got these backwards. I got my thing backwards here, my banner, but it's Hill versus Lo Celso. 2 players that that have shown promise elsewhere on their loans, in Spain, but haven't quite been able to replicate it at Spurs. It looks like maybe Hill's going to get a chance with the injury to Manor Solomon. It looks like Lo Celso should be logically the stand-in for Maddison should he get injured. So yeah. Do you guys have? Let's start with my man Jose. Who are you picking, buddy?
Because I do this on a daily, I think we should start with the guests.
Okay.
I think it's easier because I do this on a daily, don't I?
He just wants to hear your answer so that he can copy off.
I've got my answer already, and I've got my reasoning why. I'd just rather hear the guests first.
Ian, what do you got, buddy? Who are you keeping? Who are you getting rid of?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I do. It's a great. Well, I'll give it to Kate then. It's a great question because both could be players if they were fit and want to play for Tottenham, or both might be better off punted out the door. Keep Gill, Lo Celso is moody. They both got a lot of ability, innate ability. Both good potential players. I'm going to pass. I'll let Kate vote for me. Wherever Kate votes, I'll vote. As long as it's not Tory.
I think this is
love it.
I think this is dead easy. I'd keep Gill or Hills and get rid of the Celso in a heartbeat. First of all, because he is just lazy. He doesn't want to be at the club. He's got no interest in the club.
I feel like the face he's making in that picture is perfect. Like that's how he looks all the time. Yeah.
Second of all, I think little Brian Hill's got more potential than Lo Celso. And third of all, I think we'd get more money for Lo Celso because there seems to be more of an appetite for him, even though I think Hill is the better player. So for me, West Ham can have Lo Celso, or whatever you want to call him, in a heartbeat.
Well, that was easy for you. That was definitely quick. By the way, we've got Scott M in the house, everybody. Scott, welcome, buddy. Good to see you as always. Scott says this is an easy one for him. Keep Lo Celso. Hill is awful. Should have no place at this club at all. And that is a very strong and Scott doesn't beat around the bush. And I really like that. So we know what Scott feels. Wayne Bonner says Lo Celso nowhere near the class and quality of Hill. Dang, we've got some differing answers, and I like that. I really like when everybody's answers are different.
I think if you're going on potential, you keep Gill, because there's no doubt Gill has a ton of ability, and I think the argument might be that Lo Celso's had his chances. I think Kate's reasoning about him not showing the right attitude, not wanting to be at the club, that resonates with me. I'm wondering when he comes back from this injury, if you might see a different Lo Celso. I'm also a little bit worried about if Maddison were to get injured or suspended, who could actually play that role. We don't really have any another natural. I'll call him a number 10, although I say Ange tends to play 2 inside forwards, 2 number 8s, but. Gill could play there as well, but I think with the way Postecoglou sets up with his wide men, with his tricky little wide men to come in, Gill's probably more suited to that role. I'll probably go with that.
I like that answer.
Both could do a job. Both could absolutely do a job. We desperately have that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I kind of cut you off there at the end, but I was just saying, they could both, as long as they get their heads straight and decide they want to be here. And now that leaves Jose. It comes to you, buddy.
It's a clean sweep. I'm keeping
Brian Hill
all day long. For me, Hill is a player that we haven't got the same. Hill is an individual player that we don't have a similar like for within the squad. To me, all the great Spanish players that we've had in the last decade or just over, your Silva, Iniesta, Xavi, they all played similar. They're touch footballers. The only thing with Hill that he's got is that he can also play wider as well. And if Hill's played in the right position, Hill will go past the player for you. Hill also likes to get stuck in. He's slight of frame, but he likes to get stuck in. And he will get stuck in where, when I've seen Lo Celso play, Lo Celso doesn't look like he wants the hard graft. He doesn't want the nitty-gritty of the game and stuff like that.
Kind of Ericsson, like, you know what I mean? He won't fly into tackles. He won't,
Doesn't seem like a battler for the team type thing. But then also as well, I hear the other argument, the case before, that people seem to want Lo Celso, and therefore you can get revenue back from him. But to be honest, the teams that want him seem to all be in Spain, and the teams all in Spain are all skint, and they're not offering that much money.
Loans. Everybody wants to loan him.
But they won't give you all the big money for him. However, I don't know if Lo Celso wants to get some game time. I'm hoping that someone like Villa would bid for him, because if someone like Villa bid for him, Emery being there, they'd give you 30 million for Hill, where you're lucky if we would get anywhere near 15 mil from a Spanish club.
Can I add to what Jose is saying there?
Of course.
If you were a gambling man or woman, for that matter, you would. My money, my pound would be on neither of them being at the club this time next year. That's where as opposed to one or other or both at the remaining. My probably odds on bet would be neither of them will be here this time next year.
I think that's fair. Especially if we can get any kind of money back for them. Real quick, what price would you take for Lo Celso just to get him out of here? 10?
Yeah,
think we can get 10 out of him?
More.
I'd like to think we could get more, but he's most naturally fitted to the Spanish game, and Jose makes the correct point.
They're just trying to loan everybody right now.
The problem is the English Premier League has so distorted the market that players that English clubs buy are being bought for probably 2, 3, and 4 times their value to anybody else. So if they don't work out, Mr. Cool. If they don't work out, you're just going to have to take a huge loss on them, and we're finding that probably with Celso, who
he was so expensive, like 50 million.
40 million. Well, this was after 3 years or whatever it was, or 3 transfer windows, whatever it was, of not spending any money. So what do we go out and do? We spend the 55, 60 million on Ndombele and 40 million on Celso. Players, and Ndombele we may just end up having to pay him to go, because he's not cutting it at Galatasaray by the sounds of things. There was one thing. He came on, I don't know if anyone saw it, he came on against Man United about 10, 15 minutes to go, and he made this absolutely glorious turn. And Dembele, Bissouma took whoever it was marking him, just left him for dead. Has 2 options to go left, 1 to go right, and he plays a crap pass right. And it's so frustrating. I don't know if anyone saw that. And you're going,
Did you see what happened with Ndombele when he played for Galatasaray against Copenhagen in the first Champions League match day 1?
Yeah.
He played the weekend before, and he came on a sub for Galatasaray. They won the game. It's a league game. They won it. And the commentator that was doing the first Champions League game, they were 2-0 down, Galatasaray, and they scored 2 goals in the last 10 minutes to equalise the game 2-2. But they brought Ndombele on. And when they brought Ndombele on, the commentator turned around and said, and honestly, he just turned around and said in Turkish, "What is this? What am I looking at? We've got a bloke that Galatasaray have bought for on loan to see whether he can fix up and be a player for them in the future. And people have been complaining about his body shape and his body size. I thought this man would be on a diet on a training regime to get fitter. He only played 3 days ago, and he looks 10 pounds heavier than he did on the weekend."
That was literally like in the match commentating.
He makes me look skinny, and I've never been a professional athlete. Yeah.
Wait, you've never been a professional? You've never been? You sure you've never been?
I know that comes as a shock, Colin. I know that must come as a shock, but
I'm just playing. I'm just poking at you. It's fun.
I got to semi-pro level as a referee, but
that's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
I ref at a very low level, and I've coached at a very low level. But you got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere.
I have refereed a cup final at Hampden Park, and a lot of much better referees than me will never be able to say that. So
there you go. Absolutely. That's wonderful. Yeah. Whoa, hold on real quick too. In the chat, look who we've got, guys. We've got a ton of great people. Todd Spurs is here. We've Adrian is always ever present. Jacob from United Spurs of America popped in. What is up, Jacob? We got a party going in here. It's gonna get a little wild. It's gonna get a little rowdy. Big up, and thanks for coming in, man. We appreciate you. Just real quick, and Ndombele has yet to speak out about his Big Mac addiction. Do you think he'll have a Dele tell-all interview with that? Maybe he should. Maybe he needs to talk to somebody about that. There's I would say there's another one too.
What's your choice? You've had us 3. What's yours?
Hill is fun to watch. Whenever you see him play, he'll take a player on. He's not afraid to. He's not the paciest, but he's got pace. But like you said, I like a winger that plays like the traditional winger role. He reminds me. He's got kind of an old schoolness to his play. He doesn't cut in and go for. He doesn't play on the opposite side of a strong foot, cut in and shoot a curler like most wingers are doing these days. He sticks to the touchline. For the most part, can beat a man, but can also dribble inside. I don't know. He reminds me of Tottenham. He just has like a very Tottenham feel to his game. It's fun to watch. It's exciting. He's always moving the ball forward. He's I think he'd be a good addition to the squad. I think if we can integrate him in, I think with him and Madison, the way they both just drive forward, I think it would really help us in the long run. I think he could be a big player, and I think Solomon's injury is going to give him an opportunity to give it a try. But look at this. We've got Jacob big up and everybody. There's tons of love in the chat later. Tons of love in the chat. So awesome, guys. Hey, real quick before we got kind of off here, but here's our second option. Let me get this banner out of the way first. It's going to confuse people. So here we go, guys. This one you're going to be mad. We've got George Kevin Nkudu versus Jed Spence. Two players who never accomplished anything at Spurs. One still, I guess, belongs to the club and is just out on loan. George Kevin Nkudu put in a sweet cross for a headed Harry Winks goal, which was pretty sweet. Last second winner. But yeah, these players, neither of them were particularly special. But we have to pick one to keep out of these two. And in the system we play, and for Postecoglou, Kate, who do you keep?
For me, I'd keep Spence. I think he has the potential to just be a really good player. The only thing is his attitude is apparently meant to stink. But I think if anyone can get that out of him, it'd be Ange. Why are you laughing?
Keep Spence, shooting, come do.
That's a bit harsh.
It's a bit.
But
Sorry, Kate. I'm not laughing at you. I agree with everything you say.
If I had to keep one, it would be Jed. I think he would fit better into our system as well. When I watched him when he was at Forest, I thought he looked a real good little player. But like I say, his just attitude is meant to be awful.
That's crazy. That's so hard for me to believe. I mean, I guess why should it be? These are all kind of prima donna guys that are, throwing at a young age into something with a lot of spotlight and a lot of praise. And so I could see that, maybe was it Kate? Was it just that he was supposed to be mad that he wasn't getting more game time, or?
The rumor is, because this is why he's getting passed around. The rumor is that he shows up late for training. He don't put in the effort. He's just got a bit of an attitude, which kind of makes sense because he arrived at Tottenham with everyone quite excited. There was this young prospect, and it's never worked out. And Ange isn't the kind of guy who's going to put up with that crap, is he? So there's a few people that have said that his attitude's terrible. So it's a shame.
I had never heard that.
And his family
wildly
the training ground as well, and said, "Look, why are you not playing my son? Or why are you not playing our nephew?"
Whoa, really?
Turn up and all that as well. So
that's not a good look. That's terrible. If I was Spence, I would be angry. I'd be like, guys, what the hell are you doing?
I couldn't hear that, Jose. What was that you said?
That I don't know at clubs he's been at where he's not been selected, and it's happened at Tottenham last season. His family turned up to training, and we're like, "Why is he not being selected? Why is he not playing?" Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Crazy. That's super embarrassing. But Ian, that brings us to you. Out of those two, who are you picking? Who's going?
Well, anyone who says send them both to West Ham, I'm sympathetic with that, but there's a reality. We got to pick one. For many of the reasons that Kate's mentioned, I'm keeping Spence. I'm actually a little bit surprised. I thought when Conte left, he would have a fresh chance under Ange. When I looked at, because I live, just for people who don't know me in the chat, I live in Scotland and I watch Celtic, follow Celtic up here, which is one of the reasons why I just thought Ange was an absolute perfect fit for what we needed. And thank God so far I've been proved absolutely right. My worry was defensively, Porro wouldn't be good enough to play in a back four, and that Emerson wouldn't be good enough going forward to play Ange ball and to play that inverted fullback role, which is why I actually, if anyone follows me on Twitter and reads my pinned post, which was a sort of a long analysis of how Ange ball would fit with our current squad, the player I thought might be perfect because he's good on the ball, good going forward, good engine, and as a decent defender, is Spence. I actually thought he would become the right back in that system. But you can't teach attitude, and clearly he's not made it under Conte. I don't think he got a look in either much, if my memory is correct, under Ryan Mason. And now Ange has just shunted him off So it is clear that there is a fundamental problem, and I really don't get it for a young man like that, with given an opportunity to do what all of us would love to do, and that's play professional football and earn the kind of money that these guys who make it are now capable of setting up, themselves, their kids, their grandkids for life. And his attitude sucks. And it's a real shame, because I genuinely think he's got ability. But yeah, probably both to West Ham. But if I have to keep one, I'm keeping Spence. Donna, is that your sister? It's not your mum, Colin.
No, it's my aunt. It's my aunt.
Oh, your aunt. Right, Auntie Donna. I live in Glasgow, just outside Glasgow. So, yeah.
Scott says he goes from English to Scottish twang.
Yeah.
You gotta change accents. You gotta fit in.
Do the falsetto. Well done. You may not know that song. I don't know if 10cc were big in America. I don't think they were that big.
I don't think so, but that was beautiful singing. I might have to, I might have to commission you to sing my intro song. I'm looking for a new intro, so we'll talk about that. But Spence was just an overrated, player in League One. He isn't good, and his attitude makes it even worse. Overrated match in League One. Okay, I was gonna say, because he came from the Championship, but yeah, you know that, of course. But yeah. I could agree that maybe he was a bit overhyped, but he really looked like he had it. Similar to Porro, very good going forward, but going, defending maybe, but we thought we could coach that into him, but it just didn't work out. So guys, that just leaves with me and Jose's answers. Mine, I'm keeping Spence, of course. I do love Nkudu for that, for that cross. I don't think he meant for that to go anywhere close to where it went, and it was all just a fluke. But Good for him. Good for Nkudu. But Jose, what are you thinking?
Two things. Ian, he couldn't play for Ryan Mason because he was out on loan at Rennes at the time. So that's why I couldn't play for Mason. But it goes. I mean, I agree with the three of you on who we should keep and send. But with regards with Spence was at Middlesbrough, and bearing in mind that Middlesbrough were trying to go to get promoted to the Premiership. They've loaned him out to Forest, where he did well at Forest. Apparently, he had attitude problems at Middlesbrough. Yeah, loaned him out to Forest, and he played well at Forest in some games that we saw that were televised. And on the back of that, he got his move to Tottenham. Tottenham were the only real ones that were really interested in him and were prepared to pay slightly more than anybody else.
So that's absolutely right.
All Borough wanted him to go to Tottenham, because then we can wash him off our hands, and the people that are going to give us the most money with the keen interest of Tottenham. So it was in Middlesbrough's interest to make sure that he did come to us. He's come to us. He's still got time on his side, but what tells me is if Ange has let him go on loan already, it tells me 75 to 80% he's not going to be here next year either.
Yeah. No, I think that's absolutely right. Everything you say I think must be right, and it's a shame because no one has said he doesn't have ability. Aglider comment there. Can you go up there, because I think there's some injury about how Porro has proved a lot of us wrong, and I think that's right. I think there's a lot in that. Having said that, I'm still a little bit concerned at the number of goals that we're letting in on that right-hand side of our defence. And for that farcical goal, or VAR goal that should have been allowed that wasn't, he still didn't get across. I'm not saying it was a particularly bad piece of defending, but he was in position to get there and didn't get there, didn't slide in, didn't try and block the shot. So I still worry about him a little bit defensively. Particularly as he doesn't get as much help from Kulusevski as I would like. But there's no doubt there has been an exponential improvement in his defending. He's another one that people forget. He's still only young and can still really improve defensively. And of course, that cross for the goal, the winning goal on Saturday night was. Considering how many balls Kulusevski had put in for no gain, one ball in from Porro into that corridor of uncertainty, and bang, we win 2-1.
I know low crosses for the win. I say we just drive them lower on the floor from now on. Let's just try that for a while. That was a beautiful thing. And guys, that is the end of Keeper West Ham. Thank you guys for playing. We can now move on to the rest of the show. I just wanted to say hey to Israel Nyamiba. I'm probably destroying that pronunciation, but it's very nice to have you here. I've never seen you in the chat, so thanks for joining. If you feel so inclined, you could hit the like, you could subscribe, see more of these beautiful faces in the future. We put out Spurs content every day, right around this time, every day, sometimes minus the weekends. But yeah, so please join, and thank you so much for being here. It's lovely to have you. Also, I wanted to throw out there real quick. So Ian has already talked about where you can find him. His oh dang, there's still a banner there, but his name for Twitter is right there at Shaggy1712. So you can find him there on Twitter. And then I just wanted to real quick throw in here, Kate, just a girl who loves Spurs. There is the link to her. Please go check her out. Obviously after this show, but please go check out Kate. But guys, we've got more work to do here, and I want to make sure I'm on the right page. But we need to talk about, for one, I trust that Big Ange is going to get everything right. I think that we learned a lot from the Fulham match. I hope at least that we learned a lot from Fulham of what we can and can't get away with so far as changes in the team. And so I have this here. There's got to be a better site to do this, not a FIFA one, but it's what I could find at the last minute. So we're going to talk about the players that we think are gonna play, and who could possibly spell some people and what you think. So I guess I'll start out and say I think that Sonny has an injury. Sonny is carrying an injury. So would you guys continue to play him? Do you think we should rest Sonny? It's Luton. I mean, I could see the argument both ways. We'll start with Kate. Kate, do you play Sonny? Yeah, and he said that everybody was fit except for the regular people that are out. Sessegnon and
Hill and the Celso back.
Yeah,
Son has trained for the last 2 days. Madison and everyone else have trained all week.
Yeah. Wonderful. So you think that we'll probably see this lineup here then? Our normal. So I guess the real question is who plays on the left? Do we have Richarlison play on the left? Do we trust Hill already to put him on the left? It's kind of a tough question, but I think the bottom just kind of lines itself up. You don't really have to do anything here. We'll have Vicario, Udogie, Van de Ven, Romero, Poro, I think. But this could also be a match for Emerson to get a run out. He hasn't really seen much game time this season. So yeah, I just wondered if you guys thought there'd be any changes. I don't think there'll be wholesale changes. But start with Kate. Do you think that we'll see the same lineup we've been seeing basically, this is kind of this right here? Or do you think that we'll see any changes?
For me, I would start exactly that team. Hopefully, if we can get a couple of goals, I would take Sonny off and rest him. And I'd bring Valise on, let him have some minutes.
That's good.
What I will say is they're going to play quite a low block, so I'm not sure Sonny will get the space he needs. Everyone who knows me knows I can't stand Richarlison and I don't rate Kulusevski, but at the minute, Kulu, we haven't really got any other option to go there. And Richarlison does have aerial ability, which I think might be key to this game. I'd try and get Poro running up the field more, crossing the ball in and hoping that Richie can get on the end of it. And obviously, if we take Sonny off, get Valise on to do the same thing because he's quite a lump as well. But for me, I would
speaking Jose's language right now, by the way.
Am I talking to you nicely, Jose?
Valise is the man. Trust me, I'm telling you all now. Valise is the man.
But yeah, if it was me, I would start this, but I wouldn't play Sonny for longer than sort of. Well, I don't even think I'd give him a full first half. I'd give it sort of 30, 35 minutes and see how we're going, because you can't afford to risk him getting a proper injury and being out for weeks and weeks. We need him too much. That's
100% correct. Yeah, that's my worry as well. Ian, do you
Yeah.
agree that this is kind of what we're going to see?
Yeah, I'm getting boring here, Kate. I agree. Ange is not a big rotator. In fact, the game he made big rotations. Fulham, it all came hopelessly unstuck. I don't think he'll be making that mistake again in a hurry. He tends to rotate within games, so he will bring off Son, he'll bring Philith on or something like that to fill in. He won't be rotating for the sake of rotating. If he feels someone needs a rest within the course of a game and we're 2 or 3 up, then that's what will happen. So that's exactly the team that I expect him to start with. We don't have a lot of cover. I think one of the things that the current injuries have shown us, we need more depth. We need more quality depth in the squad. But it's getting there. Someone mentioned the boy Donnelly, who I expect to be on the bench tomorrow because he is doing some really interesting things in the under-21s. Well, it's only on the Spurs highlights I've seen them. There's a lad, and I don't know where he's from. I mean, I think he actually is English, but he must be. Oh, who's barking at me? What have I done wrong?
I think that's Kaiba.
Is the lad Santiago, who seems to be really
Spanish. Santiago Spanish.
He's claiming him. Jose's claiming him.
What do you think, Jose? What do you think of him as a player?
Yeah, he's a very good player, but he's a very good player. But he's one of a number of good players that we've got in the under-21s. I mean, if I go back to last season, the reason why the under-21s nearly got relegated is because if you remember all the stories last year that were coming out from Tottenham, Conte would pull the under-21s and he'd bring them into training, even on their match, on the under-21 match day, he'd bring them into training and he'd use them as static cones for the first team to play around them and that.
What?
So
I never heard of that.
Yeah.
That's
so therefore, their players are staying with the first team just for static training, and therefore he had to field younger sides and other teams out in order to play in the under-21s. And we nearly came unstuck because of a rule changing or a league changing they did at the start of this season. Otherwise, we were relegated last year.
Yeah, no, I've heard this. I mean, I've said this on other streams I've done, Jose, that I think what Conte did to our club, and I wasn't in favour of Mourinho coming, but I was in favour of Conte. But I think what Conte ended up doing was an absolute crime against football. I mean, what he did to the players like Sarr and particularly Bissouma, who were clearly so stifled by his coaching that they weren't able to do anything at all. And using the under-21s, who obviously weren't be allowed to be coached or do play properly, is an absolute disgrace. And you see, I think they played 8-1-8 so far in the what do they call it, the Premier League 2 or whatever they call it that they're playing in. That it just shows you exactly where they got to. Adrian, just that in the chat there, Santiago as a winger. Yeah, absolutely. What I was thinking of though is if Son needs to come off and we put Richarlison back into the middle, which I'm not sure is his best position, but anyway, Richarlison into the middle. Who would we play now that can play wide left forward? Because I'm just thinking what he might do. Maybe Santiago's not ready for the bench, but I do expect Philith to be on the bench, and I do expect Donnelly to be on the bench. But I'm just looking at the options going forward. And if we can get
I was just going to say, and Richarlison's best position is on the bench. That's his best position.
Scott M's comment here. He doesn't ever want to see Richarlison on the pitch again.
I know where you're coming from on this, but this is another one. We've spent 60 million quid on him. You know, are we just prepared to send another 60 million down the toilet, or are we going to hope that he comes good? He has scored this season. He has made 2 assists this season in the last 2 or 3 games. So, look, I know you're not wrong, but this is where the squad is a little bit threadbare. You know, with Perisic out, with Johnson out, with Sessegnon, who may be a natural left-sided player, out, and who else has got injured? Solomon's out. We don't have that many options. So Richarlison has to start tomorrow. And at some point, we have to absolutely hope that he comes good, because we ain't going to get a lot of money back from him for him again if we end up
if we start banging in some goals.
Yeah, Hill as well. I expect to be on the bench. I forgot actually we talked about Hill. If Hill's fit to be on the bench, then yeah, that's another option. Yeah, I agree with that, Adrian. I probably agree with that, because I don't think Santiago's ready yet. That's all. I was just wondering if whether he was an option going forward. Yeah, Hill on the bench, that might be interesting.
Yeah.
I think at the moment, the next cab off the rank, if it was out of Santiago and Donnelly, the next cab off the rank would probably be Donnelly. Because Donnelly's the one that's been training more with the first team. But when you bring in youngsters into the first team to train with them, Ange and his coaches do train them, i.e. they are training, but not being put there as statues so people can run around them all day. That's the difference that we have now.
Love it. I love having a manager where, and like Adrian pointed out to us the other day, they finally have kind of implemented something where from the youth teams up, we're all playing the same, style of football. So whenever it's time for a youth, team member to step in, they know what's going on. They know the system. They know what's expected of them. And I think that's awesome. And it's frankly quite embarrassing that it hasn't been like that for years. Like, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to think that maybe that's a good idea. I don't know. Kate,
how many subs are you allowed? It's only 9, aren't you? You're allowed to name. I'm sure Adrian's got 10 there.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're right. I think it is 9.
You've got 2 goalkeepers on there. No, just the one. There's a lot of teams. A lot of the Premiership teams pick 2 keepers, don't they?
Adrian's got Hill, Valise, Celso, Højbjerg, Skip, Emerson, Phillips. Ashley Phillips. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Davies,
maybe Donnelly
Forster,
won't make the bench.
I would so much rather have Hugo on the bench than Forster. Can we talk about that really quick? I think that Forster is awful, and I don't know if it's an attitude thing with Hugo, because I've heard he's been helping out with Vicario and his training, and you know what I mean? And we got Leo. What's up, homie? Leo, good to see you, buddy. The chat is just full of great people. And Kate is right. Smash the likes, you filthy animals. Please help out. It really does help the show. We got 20 people watching right now. So for us, that's actually wonderful. And thank you guys. If you could all hit the like, all subscribe if you haven't. It's just a great thing. And real quick, just because I'm on it and I'm a slag and I got to get it out there, I just want to say big up to Chris Peters and Wayne Bonner. We don't get super chats on this channel. There's no channel memberships, but we do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/talkingball. Chris Peters and Wayne Bonner are both members, so big up to you guys. Thank you. I got a new light. I got this flag behind me that I've had to fold up a bit, but through their contributions, I've been able to kind of upgrade the set a bit. And I just wanted to say thanks to you guys. And if anybody else wants to do it, feel free. If you don't, a like and subscribe is just as good. But there's many options ranging from $2 to $6 a month. Please check it out. And thank you. Enough whoring myself out. Time for football again. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, so Leo's in the house. We were talking. What were you saying when I cut you off, Ian?
You wanted to talk about Lloris and Forster.
Thank you. Yes, I absolutely do. I just think it's weird. It's really weird that Lloris doesn't make the bench. To me, he's miles better than Forster. I mean, do you guys? I mean, Kate, wouldn't you agree that if you're looking at these keepers objectively?
Do you know what? I think the thing with Lloris is he'd set his heart on going. I think he thought he was going, so maybe his head's not in the right place to be on the bench. I think that's all it really is. Forster, I mean, he's like a tree, isn't he? He's like timber, and he just goes down there really slowly. But hopefully, we won't need to call on him. But that's my only reasoning with the whole Lloris thing. I think he really thought he was going, and he hasn't gone. So I just don't think his head's in the right place to be there.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. That has to be it. But he's absolutely the better player, Ian. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Jose too. I mean, I think all of you guys would agree that if we're looking objectively at keepers, you would want Hugo Lloris in your team over freaking Forster.
I think something, we don't know the real story. Something went on at Newcastle.
Oh yeah, I always forget about that.
Half time, something's definitely gone on at Newcastle, and from then on, he never got selected. Wasn't injured, He never got selected, not even as a substitute.
No.
He was not selected after that. So if you've checked out and you're the leader because he's the captain, and you've checked out and you've done that in front of everybody else, then you have no tenure left at the club at all. The fact that he didn't get himself a move away, there was options. There was his reasons as well why he didn't want to move. But, you know, what kind of precedent does that set to the rest of the team? I think Forster is a stopgap. We know this already. Forster was a stopgap last year as well. He came in as a number 2 as a stopgap. We've brought in our number 1 now, and he's still our stopgap at the moment. I'm sure that next summer things will change. Whether we think that one of our further keepers down the line is good enough to come in number 2, or whether we go out and purchase another keeper, something will change next season. But Lloris,
finished at the club.
Whether he's a better goalkeeper than Forster or not doesn't really come into the equation after the actions that have been taken.
Guys, I agree. I agree completely. We're all on the same page. I'm glad that there was some disagreement in Keeper West Ham. It's no fun when everyone disagrees the whole time. But speaking of fun, there is a segment that Jose and I are really excited to debut on this show. Jose, is it time?
Yeah. How many people you got in the chat?
We've got 20 people in the chat currently.
It's a good time to do it then. Yeah.
Yep. So let me throw this banner up here so people know what's going on. It is time for Guest Corner, and I'm going to throw it to Jose.
Right, so Guest Corner, I used to do it on my channel when I used to do videos to get people on. And what I used to do is I used to ask, the Guest Corner is for people that are guesting, or people that are on like we are on screen now, and also the people in the chat to give us one piece of information about, and it can be why you love Tottenham, why you became a Tottenham fan, something that's from Tottenham that sticks in your memory. It can be a memorable, something that reminds you of something. It can be a game. It can be a moment in time. And you're only allowed to say one, because if we continue this, then we can start understanding who our viewers are and what gets them ticking and stuff like that, and the panelists that are on as well. So
absolutely,
because I've now come over to help out Colin, I said to Colin, look, why don't we bring the Guest Corner I used to do? Why don't we bring it to this show? Because I'm helping out here. I used to get a lot of engagement. I used to get people messaging me saying, are you going to do Guest Corner again? So I brought it here.
You're the man. You're the man. Welcome, everybody, to Guest Corner. Jose's baby, and I'm very glad. Thank you for sharing it with me, sir. But yeah, we'll start with the chat. Kate, I don't know a whole lot about your Spurs journey and how you've come to love the club. So what's your one?
Kate can't use Jim's because Jim's already put his one on there.
I know he's stolen mine. He's such a swine. He stole it.
What, you guys met at a match?
At a football match, yeah.
In 2000. Can't I just elaborate on that story?
Yeah.
Go on then. You can have 2 goes, Kate, yeah?
Thanks. Yeah. The 99-2000 season, I had a job in a pub and I worked every Saturday, but I got a phone call from my uncle who said that he had a spare ticket. So I decided to go, met Jim. We swapped numbers within 20 minutes and text the whole time, met up the next day, became best friends. And then that was like 24, 25 years ago. So yeah, that is my biggest memory of Spurs, obviously, because it brought me and Jim together, which is amazing.
That's beautiful. That is an absolutely beautiful story. I love it.
Another memory, I suppose, if I had to say something, it'd probably be it's not a good memory either, but it'd probably be going to watch Tottenham with my friends when we were 3-0 up against Man United and ringing the pub where I worked, giving it large and having bets with people everywhere. Go on, I'll take that bet, 20 quid here and this, that. And then us losing 5-3 after half time. That's one of my biggest memories, actually, of being at Spurs and the letdown that was when Beckham was on the pitch and played just unbelievably well.
I'm glad we got the good and the bad, which is good because that's a Tottenham fan in a nutshell right there. It's a beautiful thing and it's also a tragic thing. So that is a wonderful answer. Jim, thank you for that. Kate, thank you for elaborating. We've got some more in the chat here. Adrian Sroka said that, he became a Tottenham fan after being press gagged by the family as a young child. It was either Spurs or the orphanage. Yeah, that's you come from a true Spurs family, my friend. Glad to have you here. You're like a legacy fan, they say, and it's really nice to have you here, Adrian. That's what I did to my mom. I told her, hey, you start supporting Spurs with me, you learn about this team, you learn the history, or I'm getting a new mom. And she did it. So
that's what we did to our son as well. By the time he was 3 days old, he had his first kit, and that was it.
Lovely. That's beautiful. And then we got Ellie with the hearts. She loves the love story here. And then Jim saying the good outweighs the bad. It sure does. But Ian, that brings us to you, bud. What memory do you have?
Where do you start with this? I'm probably older than most people that do this stuff. So my first game at Tottenham was 1966, a reserve game, first division game as it was then in 1967. When the first away game was away at Old Trafford. Spurs FA Cup holders, Manchester United league champions, and about to win the European Cup in January 1968. So I have hundreds and hundreds of memories. Two I'll give you though, because I've been at cup finals. I was at 81, 82, 84, 91. I mean, I was at all of them, the Charity Shield. So my eyes have seen the glory. Sorry, my partner's just come in on the phone. It's like, no, you can't talk on the phone when I'm doing a show.
Tell them we all said hi.
I will, and anyone can go and watch this on YouTube. 1978, April, I think it was April 1978. We were playing in the old second division. Relegation. How bad it is now, but relegation came as something of a relief. We had been awful for probably about 4 years, and every season was a battle against relegation. There was 20,000 in the ground. You could see the crushed barriers. The football was dire. The players were deteriorating, and we got relegated. And all of a sudden, Keith Birkinshaw became the manager. The football, a bit like Ange, the football suddenly got better. We were able to give players like Hoddle and McNabb, young players, really young players, license to go out and play. And supporting Tottenham was fun again. And that should probably resonate with things that have gone on over the last few years. But I'm probably the same age as Blanchflower's, a bit before my time, but Aglai's dad. But a game, Spurs at Mansfield, of all the places to watch, an absolutely classic game of football. Mansfield 3, Tottenham 3. The game was played. It was the pitch was you wouldn't play football on a pitch like that now. We guessing down with a minute to go. That it was hammering down. I can't remember if it was Oxford or Cambridge in the boat race, but one of the boats sank because the weather was so bad. That's that sort of day it was. And Hoddle stepped up in the 90th minute, free kick, top left-hand corner.
Oh man,
bang!
Nice.
I
love a good free kick goal. Yeah,
we were all soaked going home, and it's a couple of hours back from Mansfield's near Nottingham for you, Colin. If you don't know where Mansfield is, so it's a couple of hours north of London. We were soaked. It was yuck. But we'd see it was the most classic game of football. And anyone who doesn't believe me, you can go on YouTube and see this game, because I think it was on the big match as that program was scored. Yeah, Adrian, it was an absolute classic free kick. There was one of the Mansfield goals. Barry Daines was a goalkeeper, came out, went to kick it. The ball stuck in the mud. And I think it was David Moss, their centre forward, just took it round, got it round. And I think that was his hat trick. But it was just one of those games I will never ever forget. And it's one probably no one here will remember or know about. But if you can be bothered, go on YouTube and have a look for 10 minutes or 5 minutes of highlights. It was an amazing day out.
That's a wonderful story. I am gonna have to look that up. I'm a sucker for a good free kick goal, especially a late equalizer. I gotta check it out. That's a wonderful one. Mine's Good too. But I want to hear Jose.
No. You're going first, Carl.
Oh, okay. So I got to see the Peter Crouch goal that got us Champions League. That was right towards the beginning of me falling in love with Spurs and Harry Redknapp and and Aaron Lennon and Gareth Bale. But yeah, I didn't quite understand the significance at the time. So was streaming matches back then illegally. There wasn't a good way to watch here yet. It was before we got all the games, even though you guys don't. But it was before that, and so I was sailing the 7 seas, as they say, to find me a match, and was watching it, and just everybody went nuts. I went nuts. But again, I didn't understand so much the significance as I do now of like what I was watching and how, it was really changing the way this club was viewed, the way, it had been so long since we, had been in the Champions League, and it was beautiful to see. And anytime Peter Crouch scores a goal, it's fun. I just love that big, gangly, awkward man. One of my favorite Spurs players of all time. That's mine. I think, I only get one, but that's it. That was a beaut, and that's one of the most important Spurs goals that I've seen live, and it really kind of helps cement my love for the team. 2010 May, it was had to have been May, end of the season. But yeah, so there's mine. Good old nacho eating, robot dancing Peter Crouch, firing us into the Champions League against City. Good stuff. Very, very, very good stuff. I'm sure you all remember that one.
Yes.
Hard not to. It was good. I miss Spurs from back then in a way. I know that we're a better team now, and we've, we play more cohesively as a unit, but it was so much fun watching those guys go out there and just do their thing, not really being shackled by Redknapp at all. They kind of could just, just fucking run around a bit, whatever he used to say. Loved it. It was fun football. I really fell in love with Spurs under Redknapp. But yeah, that's mine. And again, it's a little newer than some, but it is my favorite one. Oh my God, dang it! I have a better one now, but it's okay. It's okay. We only get one. I'll do it next time. Jose, so we've got some in the chat here, real quick. I want to go through those real quick. Ellie said her dad was the biggest Danny Blanchflower, Jimmy Greaves, and later Martin Chivers fan, and his passion for Spurs rubbed off on the entire family, and generations down have no choice but to support the Spurs. The mighty, mighty Spurs. Love it, Ellie. Love it. And, didn't you used to kick a ball around for Spurs a little bit? But that you could only say one thing. So I get it. Scott here, though, saying you can't talk about being a Spurs fan without so much bad times as a Spurs fan. Yeah, of course. But that's what makes the good times worth it. There's no good without the bad. It's all balance. Everything is balanced.
I think that was in reference with Kate, because when he put that comment up, it's in reference to Kate's Man United comments.
Oh, yes. Well, still, just even in general. Okay. Is this the same match that you were talking about, Ian?
That's the match that Ian was talking about, the Mansfield 3-0.
Yep. I gotta check that out. I mean, I'll do it as soon as the show's over. But that's everybody in the chat. If you want to keep throwing in your Spurs stories, how you fell in love with Spurs, your one memory of Spurs you have that'll always stick with you, get it in the chat.
Chris Peters as well has put one down.
Oh yes, Chris, my man, lived in Bruce Grove when I was 4 to 6. In the early 70s. When I moved to Essex, I decided on Spurs as everyone was talking about football. You had to choose a team, and it was obvious to me. Love it. Yeah, you just know with Spurs. I don't know. You either love them or you don't.
Bruce Grove is about half a mile away from the stadium. So just
wow. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for the. Yeah. I appreciate that context there, sir. Yeah, and then here's you. Come on, guys, in the chat. What's yours? Memories, moments, thoughts about being a Spurs fan? Why don't you get them? Why don't you get them going, Jose? Why don't you?
Well, I'm going to give one, and mine, because people have given good ones and a bad one. I'm going to give a bad one for me. And the bad one for me was we played in the UEFA Cup against Real Madrid, and we were at home. And obviously, for people that don't know, I'm Spanish, but I'm from the northwest of Spain. I'm from a place called Galicia, and my local team is Deportivo La Coruña, and we were a provincial team and had been for many, many years. And we played Real Madrid back in the 80s, and obviously, the family supported Real Madrid because obviously they're all Spanish. They all supported Real Madrid. So we went to White Hart Lane for the game. There's me with all my Tottenham stuff and everything, surrounded by all my family with all their Real Madrid regalia and that. And we got beaten 1-0, and it was Steve Perriman own goal. And it broke my heart because I'd gone and I wanted to so much win the game in front of all my family. And I went home and my head was bowed down for all my journey home. I didn't speak to anyone for about 2 or 3 days. I didn't speak to anyone. And whatever they were saying to me was going in through one ear and coming out the other on the train home, because they were all trying to rib me, and I didn't listen to one word that was being said to me, and I ignored my family for 2 to 3 days. So yeah, so that's that's a bad memory that I had because of the family, but I have so many good ones. But as I said, the whole idea of this is to do one each time you do it, because then if you do that, then you get to find out about your guests and about your people in the chat.
Exactly, and we love it. We love hearing input from you guys.
So Jim's already telling us that he's got another one, but he's going to save it for next time, which is good.
Boom. Yes, thank you, Jim. Good call. We've got Sunny Wife here. What is up? Good to see you today. Says, wow, a lot of people today. Yeah, exactly. We've pulled in quite the crowd. It's because I have such wonderful guests. They bring with them a posse. But yeah, Sunny Wife, we're talking about Spurs memories, things that you love about Spurs, a good memory, a happy time, a sad time, something about Spurs that sticks out to you. And just one thing, if you want to throw that in the chat, we'll put it up. We're all kind of all going through, our hours, and we would love to hear. We would love to hear what you have to say. What you love about Spurs, a good memory you've got, maybe, or a bad memory even. Be awesome. Leo, though, saying that, speaking of his daughter, he woke up this morning with a colorful set of toenails. You must have been zonked out, man. She got you.
No. Leo lets her do it. Last time he sent me a photo, he had lovely, beautiful blue toenails. So he's quite happy to have his toenails painted. Don't worry about that. You're a good dad, Leo. You're a good dad. Donna saying she would love to go to Spain, Jose.
Is Donna your aunt?
Yes.
Okay, so can I answer a question that she's been asking questions about the Spanish official?
Yes.
So Donna, just to answer that for you, right? He was the president of the Football Association, and in the lineup when they won the World Cup, in the lineup it was the Queen, the Queen's daughter, and then it was the president of the Spanish FA, and. I'm sit on the fence on this. I'm not going to say it's right or wrong either way. I'm just going to say what happened is that when all the ladies were receiving or going up to receive their medals, they were being hugged and kissed by the Queen, the Queen's daughter. I don't know whether she's a princess, but the Queen's daughter, and the president of the FA was congratulating, hugging people and handshakes with everyone that come up. But it so happened that when Jenny Hermoso went up, for some reason, he kissed her. Now, what Jenny Hermoso's saying is it wasn't consensual. She was shocked and didn't expect it, and that's why everything has happened. And people are saying it's not appropriate to do so. However, what I will say is that a lot of emotion has been taken out of football over the years with VAR and other things, and the world becoming very PC. Something like that would have been acceptable in Spain up to about 10 years ago, but and probably worldwide up to about 10 years ago. But now it's not accepted. And therefore,
Spain and South America too. I have a I learned Spanish from somebody from Puerto Rico. But the culture there, it's just you touch each other more. You know what I mean? It's just not as, personal space isn't as much of a thing. You know what I mean? It's natural if you're at church and there's only this much space in a pew, you squeeze in, everybody scoots over. And the kissing thing, from what I understand, is just like a normal greeting. I don't think there was anything bad meant by that.
It was on the lips rather than on the cheek.
Okay.
People on the cheek, on either side of their cheek. There's 2 kisses, and in some countries it's 3 that you do on the cheek. But that was actually he's gone and kissed on the lips.
Okay. That's
Can I come in a little bit there, Colin? Because Donna, I've got a place in Spain as well, and it's come along. I know you're a long way away, but come to Spain. It's an absolutely lovely country. So much to see. It's a big country as well. I know compared to America, it's not, but so many different variations of it. And where you are up near La Coruña, Jose, that's very different, for example, to the holiday resorts on the Costa Blanca. But I don't pick up people overreaction, and I think you've hit the nail on the head there, Jose, that if it had been just a regular kiss on both cheeks, which would be your normal greeting in Spain, if you're meeting a British person, you would I wouldn't normally just go up and kiss women that I don't know, but you would kiss on each cheek. I mean, he grabbed her by the cheeks and put a big kiss on her lips, which is, I don't think is appropriate. I mean, I'm not being prudish here, but I didn't think that was appropriate. But
I'm agreeing. I said that. He kissed her on the lips, which is not what he had done to everybody else. Had he kissed her on the side of the face, and that it probably would have been fine and would have been accepted. And people wouldn't have kicked up a storm about it.
But what I was going to say is, if he'd have apologised and said, "I got caught up in the moment," that would have probably ended it. But he started to say, "No, I'm not apologising," and then there was calls for him to resign his job as the president of the Spanish FA. And he wouldn't do that. Now, just talking a little bit, I know a little bit about the Spanish legal system. And what I think has happened is, for there to be a criminal investigation, what happens is somebody has to go to the Guardia Civil, the civil guard, and take out what's called a denuncia. Effectively, it translates as a denunciation of someone. And once you do that, you have to launch a criminal investigation. Now, the president he's now facing criminal charges. And it seems to me he's brought this on himself, because kissing someone against their wishes is a crime. It does count as an assault in Britain. And I think it must be the same in Spain. If he'd have apologised, the matter would have gone away. Having not apologised, if he'd have resigned, the matter would have gone away. But he didn't do that. And now he's facing criminal charges.
Not only his salary. She puts here, you can't believe he would risk his salary. But not only that, but his
I mean, Donna, if I came across to Indiana and I met you and I met, I would not grab you by the cheek and stick a big kiss on your lips. It just wouldn't be appropriate, even if you just won the World Cup. You might get a peck on the cheek because that's just a friendly greeting, but he brought this all on himself. And someone said in the chat there, his mum defending him. Yeah, absolutely. And
I didn't even know that.
He could have made him go away. And I think, if I've got the legal process right, that once she took the denuncia to the Guardia Civil, that was the beginning of his end.
When you denunciate a person, that's right. You're quite right in what you just said. Everything you just said there.
Hey, exactly. I agree, and that's a weird situation. Thank you guys for kind of educating me about it. I'd kind of missed that whole thing. Real quick, guys. Chris Peters says he used to live in this place. How do you pronounce that? Is that in Spain?
Alpujarras.
Is that in Spain?
Yeah, Alpujarras in Orgiva, in the mountains. I loved it.
Sounds beautiful.
If it is in Spain, it ain't nowhere near me.
It's a big country, like Ian said. It's a big place. Yeah. It's a big place. You guys, so we're getting very close to the end of the show. But so this is a Keeper West Ham that I've played a few times, but I don't know if you guys have seen it. So I just wanted to throw this in here, and this is just like kind of an ending thing.
Oh,
William Gallas versus Judas. Yeah, Jose has played this one, but Ian and Kate, you guys have not seen this one yet. Maybe some people in the chat probably have. I play it a lot, but this is my favorite because it's like the reverse. It's the guy who snaked us and went to Arsenal, and then the player who came from Arsenal to us. He played everywhere for what it's worth. Gallas was kind of a traveler, but yeah. Who do you guys pick? Who stays and who goes to West Ham out of these two?
I'll let Ian go first with this one because I've gone first every time.
All right, okay. I've got to hold my nose because of the smell, but I've got to kick Campbell. I mean, whatever you say about him, he was an exceptionally talented defender. Sorry, but Kate wants to shoot me, having agreed with. He was just a very, very good footballer. And if he and Ledley King had played for years, imagine. He and Ledley King had been together at the back, we could have won. We could have won a lot. And I'm sorry because it pains me to say it. It pains me to say it because he shafted us something awful. I remember the year he was going to go and what have you. By the time got to the end of the season, you knew he was leaving. I remember Barcelona won the Spanish league that year, and they took him to the Camp Nou, and there he was in Barcelona, watching Barcelona play, and there's 100 and whatever thousand there are, and they're waving their things about, and I'm thinking, if he can resist going there, God alone knows that he's going to Barcelona, and leaving was bad enough, but to go there and then wonder what all the fuss was about.
Yeah, that's what I don't get. He still doesn't understand. He still doesn't understand why people are upset with him. What a weird, not self-aware person. You know what I mean? Like, self-awareness is an important skill and an important trait. You've got to be able to look at yourself objectively, and I just don't think he can.
And the tune of "Hey Baby," there is not a very nice song about Sol Campbell, and I'm not going to sing it, but it involves a nasty term for the female genitalia. And,
but it's a great song.
It's the greatest song ever, and I see women singing it in pubs with absolutely blasting it out.
Good stuff. Good stuff. He deserves it.
Yes, he is. But I'm making a football decision, and a football decision only, because I've got to make a choice of which player I send to West Ham, not which player I allow to go on a free to the scum. And on football grounds alone, you keep Sol every time.
I would agree. Jim says he refuses to pick Judas for anything. Yeah. Absolute pig. Ellie agrees. He was an exceptional footballer. Played as a striker early doors too. I didn't know that. I just think he tarnished his entire reputation by going to the scum and then winning so much, especially in their invincible team. And the fact that he left on a free. Had you guys got some money for him?
What's Katie's thoughts? I'm interested in Katie's thoughts. Who's keeping him in West Ham? And the reasons as to why and why not.
Yes, man.
I feel like I'm going to vomit in my mouth, actually. I think... don't make me say it. If you had to go on footballing ability, you've got to keep the Judas because he was just such a good player. But I just, on a morality issue, I detest him with every bone in my body.
I
heard him interviewed about 6 months ago, and he said, "I can't take my kids to Tottenham because of all the hate I get." And it's like, well, hang on a minute. You shafted us, good and proper. Why do you want to come back? We don't want you at our ground. Go on, you're not welcome. What does he think, really, that he's going to be forgiven? But he was just a wonderful player. But I think I've just been sick in my mouth even thinking about it. Coming back.
We might have to turn the camera off.
Don't kiss her tonight.
Yep. Mile High Hotspur
only on the cheek, one each side.
I think it's safe to say both what Ian and Kate have said. is what we've said, because we've previously brought this up in another show, and it's basically what's being said in another show. You do get a couple of people that say that won't look beyond that, and they'll say, get rid of him. But the majority of people have said, for the footballing reasons, you keep him.
Yeah. The thing is, if he'd never done what he'd done, he would be a Spurs legend because he was such an exceptional player. But
we might have a statue. Yeah.
Oh, I hate it.
There's some hard ones. I'll just throw some. Kate, you don't have to answer these, but here's what I usually do. So we've got this one was a good one. I thought that was hard. Then we had.
I don't show them all, because if you're going to bring the panelists on again,
you're right. I can't. I got a lot. I've got a lot of them in the tank though, and ready to go. But you guys, yes. So that is pretty much the end of the show. I want to go ahead and plug everybody's channels and stuff. Ian, you don't have a channel, but you do have a Twitter.
No, I really should.
There. You should. You should.
But there's a lot of channels out here. Maybe there's too many that if some of them merged and what have you, there would be bigger audiences, although, there's obviously a good few here. No, I'm quite happy that when people like you, and I thought I did Cockle-Doodle-Doo this morning, although I had to rush off.
You've done double duty today. Thank you, man.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's actually been a really good show, Colin. I've really enjoyed it, and the people in the chat as well. So if people want to invite me on their channels, if they think I've got anything worthwhile to hear, I'm always happy if I'm free. I
love talking with you, man. Yeah, me and you were talking about Postecoglou early doors. I know you were before me, but I jumped on it with you. There's WhatsApp. There's WhatsApp messages to prove it. I can pull them up. Yeah, Kate's got the shirt. You're gonna have to send me the link to that if you don't mind, Kate.
Of course I will.
Awesome, Nick Brown. Hey, I'm Nick Brown. I'm not sure if I've seen you in the chat. So. Yeah,
Colin, before you move on from me, sorry, can I just say one thing? Just because you got this Winks and Skip come up, and it certainly might, whether it gets to North America. Winks has apparently been absolutely outstanding for Leicester. Now I know it's down a division, but I liked Winks. I like Skip as well.
I'm happy. I want him to succeed wherever he is.
I think there's a player in Winks. I think that for people who've watched Tottenham for since the '60s, there's always been a victim of the Boo Boys, and unfortunately, it was just his time. And I know a lot of it he brought on himself, but I suspect that the way he was coached by Mourinho and what have you really killed him as a player. I still think there's a good player in there. And I'd like him to come back. If it's not with Leicester, he might end up playing with a half-decent team in the Premier League once his confidence is back. I haven't followed the Championship. Is Leicester looking like they're going to come up?
Leicester are top.
Oh, shit. All right, cool.
Leicester have lost one game and won the rest of them all season. And it's a point difference between them and Ipswich.
Yeah,
nice.
I've not seen any Championship football this season because there's been so much good Premier League and what have you. But I usually do try and catch some Championship football. And I'd like to see Leicester and I'd like to see Ipswich. I know Scarlett's there. He hasn't managed to get a running because they keep winning and scoring goals. But, sometimes I watched Skip when he played for Norwich and he was just outstanding. He was just brilliant. And I've still got hopes for him. But he's a player. He's at a crossroads. He really needs to develop and show he can play in Ange, but under Ange ball as well. But I'm really pleased for Skip. I'm really pleased. And I think given a fair wind, he'll come back as a player.
Oh, you mean wait? So you mean
Winks? Sorry, not Skip. Winksy. Yeah.
No. Yeah, you're all good. I hope the same thing. I'm really glad that he's impressing. I thought he would. I honestly thought he would. That Leicester needed a player like him, especially after losing both Tielemans and Maddison. Yeah. I know he's kind of a mix between those two players in a way with his playing style. Real quick, we've got Ellie showing some girl power love in the chat. and then Leo saying anybody streaming up next or sometime today. I'll probably do a late night one because I've been trying to do 2 a day, Leo, but that won't be until at least 10 o'clock this evening. But Kate's on tonight with Jacob. Definitely tune into the United Spurs of America then. As always, Jacob is my main man, but Kate will be there also. Kate, you're on double duty today. Thanks for making the time for me. I appreciate you.
Anytime. I should have been on 4 duties today. I was down for Cockle-Doodle. Oh, no, 5. I was down for Cockle-Doodle-Doo, couldn't do it. Then Savage show, and I couldn't do it. Then I was down to do my own show and decided not to do it. And then I thought, because obviously I said I'd do yours, so I didn't want to do mine as well. And then tonight I'm on with Jacob, so it could have been a busy day, but I had a nice chilled out morning with my husband today. It was worth it. So it was lovely.
Glad to hear. Jim, glad you guys got a chilled out morning. 100%. Loving it. Love it. Winks has found his level. I thought championship would be a level or two above him, but looks like it works for him. And I mean, if that's the case and if that's where he needs to stay, do it. I mean, there's no shame in that. I would love to be a championship level footballer.
Thing is with Winksy, right? I get it. It wasn't good enough for us, but he was at our club for all of his life, and I don't think he deserves any hate. I think people now. Yeah,
Andros Townsend too. I feel like he gets the same. Yeah. Andros Townsend gets the same treatment.
Yeah, he was sold. He wasn't good enough, but he's been sold. I wish him nothing but the best. He was Tottenham through and through. He gave his all, and I really wish him the best. Because he's always been a nice kid, and like I say, it's not like he was a lazy player. He just didn't have the quality, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. Some people just find their level. Conte destroyed many players, of course. Ellie saying she's watching you on Jacobs tonight. United Spurs of America. Everybody check it out. Real quick, I want to throw out some stuff here. This is El Tel Cockerel. This is Jose's channel. Definitely get over there, but he's going to be spending a lot of time over here with me. I'm trying to steal him and have him be part of the Talking Ball family. So keep an eye out on that. I also have some other things here. This Facebook group here belongs to my good buddy Ian Sroka. He's got over 12,000 members in there. Get over there if you're on Facebook and check that out. Tons of Spurs fans to talk to. And then we've got, again, Kate, just a girl who loves Spurs. Let me grab your link. I got it right here. Copy. Banners. Create banner. Paste. Add banner. And boom. That is Kate, just a girl who loves Spurs. She's a wonderful person. She came on the show today. She brought with her fan base, I think, because we've got about twice the amount of viewers as normal. Oh, and sorry, did I say this was Ian's Facebook page? I meant to say it's Adrian's Facebook page.
Yeah, it's not mine. I did wonder.
My fault on that. I was Ian, Adrian. My bad there. It's Adrian Soroka's group. And then real quick, there was one more thing before we get out of here. You had a comment, Chris.
Sorry, Chris, it's called Tottenham Diehards.
Nice. There we go.
Yeah, Tottenham Diehards. I'm on that page as well.
Oh, see, boom, Adrian. We got members right here. Chris, real quick, Chris said first game was Spurs versus Liverpool in 1980. I think it was Hoddle scored a penalty against Clements, and I was behind the goal. What a memory there. Yeah. Nothing like being behind the goal when a penalty is scored. It's a wonderful feeling, and the excitement and the limbs and the just jumping with your fellow fans. It's great stuff. Just wanted to get that up there. We didn't get that up while we were doing it. Got skipped over. Chris, thank you for being here, my man. I know you've been very busy this week with work, so thanks for being here. Everybody, you guys, we're about to close it out. Any final words? We'll go around. Final words from Ian.
Yeah, one or two thanks. I've really been not done this show for a while. Been great. A couple of things. One, I tell you what, great to see so many women in the chat and on here and making really good contributions. That's her game too. Hashtag her game too. And that's just really, really good. Enjoyed that. Yeah, Kate, of course you were due. I saw your message to do Cockle-Doodle-Doo, but I've not streamed with either Jose or Kate before. Really enjoyed it, and hopefully do it again. Really enjoyed 100%. Being. Yeah,
awesome. Hey, thank you for being here. No, love having you, man. Love having you. We've been friends for a long time, but like you said, it's been a long time since we've streamed together. So we're very glad to have you.
And you can find me on @Shaggy1712 on Twitter, by the way. So that's the other thing.
There he is, right there, and you can see it. You can see it right under his beautiful face. There is his Twitter handle. But Kate, what's your final say here? It can even be score prediction
for tomorrow, Colin.
Yeah. We need score prediction. Ian, let's go back to Ian. Sorry, Kate. Ian, score prediction.
3-0 Tottenham.
3-0 Tottenham. I love it. We haven't kept a clean sheet in a while.
Yeah,
so I would love for that. Yeah, 100%. Vicario's got it in him. I know that. Jose pointed out that Luton are a team that are better than the sum of their parts. Like they you know what I mean. Like as a whole, they're better than they are individually. They play for each other. They're a tough team. So I don't think we're going to go in there and just steamroll them, but we might. But I think it'll be tough. I think they'll be physical, but I think we can do it. Okay, so 3-0. Ian says, Kate, we'll get last words and a score prediction from you, please.
First of all, Aglia is Ellie. I don't know if you know that, Ian. In chat.
I thought just a girl who loves Spurs was Ellie, and you were using it. No, that makes sense. That makes total sense now. That's who Ellie. Yeah, okay. Well, I know who Ellie is, so she knows who I am.
Spurs. She was a Spurs lady, and she's also an ambassador for her. So
Ellie's a legend. She's one of my favorite people.
I think I got the hashtag her game too from Shan, who was I think subject to some fairly misogynistic bullying at one point. But I'm a supporter. I can't say I do a mass, but a supporter of her game too. I think it's really important that gets recognised. And you see, was it Keegan saying I don't like women pundits and what have you?
Yeah.
I like good pundits. I don't care. If you said I don't like black pundits, you'd be arrested. So, let's put this in perspective. If a pundit's got something worthwhile to say about the game, great. Doesn't matter what colour they are, what race they are, what religion they are, what gender they are.
Well, luckily, me and Ellie and I do a show on my channel on Wednesdays at 1, and we also do a show on Sava's channel, Football Heritage TV, or 10 a.m. on a Tuesday. And we had someone come in the chat and tell us we should be in the kitchen the other day.
So that's what Adrian's joking about here.
Yeah.
I got it now.
I kind of half laughed it off because I've heard it so many times, but Sava really laid into them, which was nice. But honestly, just says more about them than it does about us. So Ellie knows so much about football; it's frightening. I always say to her, I feel quite intimidated doing shows with her because she knows everything.
Yeah, she's definitely got a great footballing brain for sure.
Yeah, and she's a walking antidepressant, Ellie. She makes everyone smile.
Oh my God, yes, absolutely.
And in my house, I'm the one that's in the kitchen. I do the cooking, and I love it.
Yeah, I wish it was like that in my house. I will say tomorrow, I think it won't be as easy as some people think. Luton are going to sit deep, but they're going to try and get us on the counter. But I am going to go for a 3-1 win. Oh, same as Sonny Wife, a 3-1 win. And I do fancy Richarlison to score at least one header, even though I don't like him. I do think he will score tomorrow.
Boom. Love it. I hope you're right. 100% hope you're right. And again, I wanted to say what's up to Nick Brown, new person. I haven't seen you in the chat. Please like and subscribe, buddy. There's more of this content to come. But yeah, so 3-1. Who's you said for Richarlison with 1? I'm gonna guess Sonny probably, and who you got for your other 2 goals, Kate? I'm just.
I am gonna go for Sonny, and I'm gonna go for Richie to get a brace, just because I think
that would be nice. Yeah,
his heading ability will come in handy. And I also want to say everyone should be subbing Colin. It's a great channel, and I will always come on if I'm free anytime. I absolutely love this channel. It's brilliant. So yes, sub to Colin.
Good. Your auntie's ready to score with Madison, I think she's saying there.
Oh
no, I misread that completely. I misread that completely.
Hey, all good. Chris Peters is right though. It says one big football family. Everyone is invited. Man, woman, anybody. We're all people. I mean, I don't know. The world's a weird place. Why does everybody have to be so weird? But you guys, we could go on forever. Nick Brown, I apologize. That makes me feel like a really bad person. I'm going to pretend like that all never happened. Thanks for continuing to be here, Nick Brown. Big love to you, Nick. But yeah, so you guys, thank you all.
You want me to give my prediction or not?
Oh,
No,
yes.
we-
Yeah. Sorry.
No, we're not
Sorry.
in
Yes.
Jose.
Woo.
I'll
Sorry.
just sit here going as a spare part for you if you like.
Stop it. No, I would love to hear your prediction. Sorry.
Right.
I'm having a hard time today.
So for those that haven't watched us this week, on Monday's show, I said, at the moment, the way I feel at the moment, without seeing Luton's match on Tuesday, I felt that Tottenham will win 3-0. After watching Luton's match, and I also said, and also depending what Postecoglou said at the presser, that I may change my opinion. Now, I watched Luton against Burnley the other night, and Luton made one change from the game that they played against Everton on Saturday. So Luton now are in a quandary this weekend. I've spoken to a Luton fan on Wednesday night that I play football with, and he said, we haven't got a deep squad. And at the moment, it's, do you play with the players again for a third time in a week, or do we go to our subs bench where he says standard goes down big time? There's a big drop, a huge drop in standard if he changes any more of the players from the subs bench. So either they're going to play with a knackered team, or they're going to play with a standard that they're not used to team. So with hearing what Postecoglou said today, that everybody's fit basically, I'm now changing my prediction. I'm going for 4-0, but I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised, contrary to people saying breaking low blocks and all that, I wouldn't be surprised if we got 5 or 6 tomorrow.
Sheesh. Man, I would love to see it. I'm ready for it. I'm ready
delusional.
for it. No, I'm no, I love it. I want that more than anything. Jose, you've got to be right, man. I think we're gonna win. I think it's gonna be close. Actually, I hate that. But I think that they'll probably score first. I think they'll score first, and then I think we'll come back and then score 3 or 4.
I mean, tomorrow at 2:30 will be TOTL, won't we?
Yeah,
TOTL?
top of the league.
Top of the league.
Oh yeah, baby. How long will we be top? Exactly. I was gonna say how long until City plays, but yeah,
they will play 24 hours later.
Sweet. We'll take it top of the league for a day, baby.
Tomorrow there's going to be a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of people taking photographic evidence, I believe, at 2:30.
Absolutely. The match is on early for me tomorrow, 6:30 in the morning, but I can't wait. I love early matches because I can't usually sleep the night before a match anyway, so I can get up early and get ready. But you guys, thank you so much for joining. Jose, what's your ending? Everyone else got a chance to have a little ending, a little blurb there. What have you got?
No, I'm pleased. I'm thankful to both Katie and Ian for coming and joining us today.
100%.
It's made the show smooth and move along. No controversy, which is sometimes good.
This is a pretty no controversy channel. There's not a whole lot of.
And we've had some interesting responses from the people on the chat, which is always good. It's always good to get the chat engaged, and they have. A lot of them have made comments, which is good. And for me, it's come on you Spurs.
Come on you Spurs. All right, everybody, I'm going to throw this up real quick. I always do this. Why am I losing it? Okay, just wanted everybody to know. Let me get this negative comment, Scott, out of the way. I just want to say this show is brought to you by viewers like you. Thank you so much for joining in. Thanks for being part of the show. Truly appreciate you guys. We'll be back. Click the bell icon. I'm not exactly sure when I'm streaming tomorrow, probably immediately following the match. And then Monday, we go back to our normal 3:30 time slot. So everybody, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being a part of our channel that's growing. We started off the day just a couple I think 13 off of 300 or something like that. 17 off of 300. So we're working. We're getting there, guys. So please share this, like, subscribe, and I'm going to quit rambling. Let's just say, come on, you Spurs. And